In the boundless blue of the ocean, where the horizon dissolves into eternity, one of the oldest quests of the human spirit lies hidden, the longing for freedom. Sometimes that freedom rises upon the deck of a ship, sometimes it washes ashore on a lonely island, and sometimes it speaks in the quietest corners of a man's inner solitude. At the heart of this tale stands the man who carried all these yearnings within him, Robinson Crusoe, a soul forever pulled toward the unknown. Growing up in the narrow streets of 17th century England, Robinson was the son of an ordinary merchant family. His parents promised him a safe, predictable life, a life where each step could be measured, weighed, and foreseen. But Robinson's soul had begun to hear whispers long before he understood them. The crash of distant waves, the smell of salt carried on the wind, the restless stories of sailors, all of it stirred something inside him. It was as if the sea itself leaned toward him from beyond the horizon and whispered, "Come, discover the world." This inner fire cast a heavy shadow over every piece of parental advice. His father's steady voice, "The middle way is best," felt like the slow tightening of chains. Robinson's mind was filled with maps, storms, adventures, and lands untouched by familiar footsteps. And one morning, unable to silence the pull any longer, he took the step that would shape the entire course of his destiny. He left home. On his first voyage, Robinson saw the sea's true face. A violent storm tore open the sky and hurled the ship into chaos. Masts splintered, waves towered like mountains, lightning ripped the night apart. Robinson felt the cold breath of death for the first time, a breath that chilled him to his bones. But when the storm passed and daylight returned, another voice rose within him, stronger than before. "Fear cannot stop me. This is my path." That path led him into trade, into the hands of pirates, into captivity, into escape, and back onto the sea again. Each experience deepened him, shaped him, carved new truths into him. Destiny, it seemed, had taken him under its relentless tutelage. Eventually, Robinson joined a profitable trade expedition to Africa. As the ship skimmed across the wind-struck sea, he allowed himself to believe, for a brief, fragile moment, that fortune was finally smiling at him. The future felt wide open, almost generous. But like all hopes, this one too would be tested. The sky darkened once more. Thunder cracked open the heavens. Waves roared and swallowed the ship piece by piece. Human cries vanished into the raging waters, carried away like grains of sand torn from a cliff. Robinson, suspended between life and death, awoke on a shore. Desolate, silent, endless. Fate had severed him from the world. He was now a man, a prisoner, a creator, a king, and a captive within the borders of a single island. At first, the island was a nightmare. The monotonous crash of waves carved a merciless loneliness into his heart. With no food, no shelter, no safety, he faced the raw edge of existence. But one thing endured, the instinct to survive. He scavenged everything he could from the wrecked ship: iron tools, cloth, guns, powder, nails, ropes. These would become the foundation stones of his new, painstakingly built civilization. He constructed a shelter, then a stronger one. He cultivated the soil, planted crops, learned to hunt and raise animals. He stitched clothes, forged tools, built fortifications against the unknown. With each passing day, the island ceased to be an enemy and slowly became the soil that remade him. Through his own hands, Robinson became not merely a man, but an entire world woven out of perseverance. Yet at night, beside the crackling fire, another voice rose from within the silence. "Who am I, and why have I survived?" Months blended into years. Robinson discovered that loneliness is both a poison and an unexpected source of clarity. Silence could scream like a storm or cradle him like a mother's breath. he found himself speaking aloud, to memories, to the boy he once was, to the world that no longer heard him. The island became his teacher. It taught patience, hardship, hope, and the fragile yet immense strength of humanity. It taught him how small a man could feel, and yet how vast he could become. Then one day, as if reality itself shifted, Robinson saw an imprint on the shore. A human footprint in the sand, clear, undeniable. His heart nearly burst from his chest. This single mark threatened to overturn every structure, every habit, every fragile sense of safety he had built. Soon he discovered signs that cannibals visited the island. The terror of the unknown cracked the shell of calm he had worn for so long. The island, once predictable, became alive with threats he could not see. Then one day, the captives the cannibals intended to kill were brought ashore. Robinson intervened, fueled by courage he didn't know he possessed, saving one of them. The look in that man's eyes, fear, gratitude, and cautious surrender, etched itself into Robinson's soul. He gave him a name, Friday. Friday was the end of Robinson's solitude and the beginning of a profound companionship. 2 cultures, 2 languages, 2 worlds, yet fate drew them into a brotherhood deeper than either could have imagined. Robinson taught him to speak, to farm, to use fire and weapons. Friday taught Robinson loyalty, bravery, and the unspoken language of trust. The island was no longer merely a place of survival, but a shared home, a tiny civilization built by 2 determined souls. Years slipped by until one day a ship appeared on the horizon. Robinson's heart pounded with both hope and dread. The ship had fallen into the hands of mutineers. Drawing on every skill honed through years of struggle, Robinson devised a bold plan. The mutineers were defeated, the rightful captain restored. He turned to Robinson and spoke words that shifted the course of his life. "I can take you home." In that moment, the weight of all the long, silent years lifted from Robinson's shoulders. Hope, once a distant echo, became real again. When Robinson returned to England, the world seemed unchanged. Busy streets, familiar voices, the rhythm of ordinary life. But he himself had become someone entirely different. Years had carved wisdom into him, quieted old storms, and opened new spaces of understanding. He had learned, a man cannot flee his destiny, and sometimes true civilization is built only in solitude. The island was never his prison. It was his greatest teacher, his truest mirror, his deepest journey. Robinson Crusoe's story is not merely one of survival, but of self-discovery, of breaking apart and rebuilding, and ultimately returning to the world carrying one's own quiet, unshakable inner island. If this video has brought you even a little closer to Robinson Crusoe's world, shaped by solitude and rebuilt through hope, know that this is only the beginning. Every great classic hides a quiet island waiting to be rediscovered. Some reach it alone, while others arrive through a small door opened by words. If this journey has left a mark on you, don't forget to leave a comment and show your support.